I'm Kamali, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world. On Newsfeed today, did the NBA drop the ball when deciding to apologize so wholeheartedly to China? A look at a man who says he is one of the worst killers in US history. Toy soldiers are used to raise money for real soldiers. And some British divers create a viral video for all those Avengers fans out there. And top of our newsfeed, the NBA and China. The social media behaviour of a coach from the Houston Rockets was the spark of a fire which is burning in a very 2019 way. The combustible ingredients, money, censorship, China and Twitter. Quite a mix. Here's Denis.
A tweet could cost a US basketball team millions of dollars and cost the NBA billions. Daryl Morey is the general manager of the Houston Rockets. He tweeted in support of the Hong Kong protest movement, and that was not well received by Beijing.
I suggest that you pay attention to the reaction of the ordinary Chinese people on this matter and their attitude. How can you have exchanges and cooperate with the Chinese side without understanding the Chinese people? That's not going to work.
Several businesses and the Chinese Basketball Association responded by announcing that they were suspending their relationship with the Rockets, while Chinese fans of the team expressed their disappointment.
Even though he later apologized and said this was only his own personal opinion, he forgot he's a public figure. He didn't consider the factors that could be involved in this. So I think as a Rockets fan, I am very disappointed. Also, as a Chinese citizen, I feel very disappointed by his comments.
The Rockets were quick to try to fix the damage. The team's owner tweeted that Daryl Morey does not speak for the Houston Rockets, while the club's guard, James Harden, one of the NBA's biggest stars, apologised to Chinese fans.
Yeah, we apologize. We love China. We love, playing there. I know for both of us individually, we go there, once or twice a year. They show us the most support and love. So, we appreciate them as a fan base, and we love everything, they're about, and we appreciate their support that they give us individually and as an organization. So, we love you.
The NBA themselves said sorry too, with one statement in English and a far more apologetic one in Mandarin. All this has led to criticism from several US senators who say this shows US companies will happily excuse Chinese censorship for the sake of profit.
Look, the people of Hong Kong are protesting for something we fortunately have here in America, which is freedom. As the country symbolized by the Statue of Liberty, to try to gag a general manager or anybody who is speaking out in favor of the Hong Kong protesters is wrong. And I hope that basketball will understand that. It's un-American to gag people when they're speaking out on behalf of freedom.
Thousands in Hong Kong are peacefully protesting in support of the same freedom of speech that makes America great. Meanwhile, the NBA seems more worried about losing business than standing up for freedom. Shameful.
The league says 800 million people in China watch the game, but its response to this controversy may have put its reputation at risk back home.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the other things that caught our eye on social media. Now, South Park is reportedly banned in China after one of the latest episodes mocked President Xi Jinping. The creators of South Park, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, wrote a sarcastic non-apology on Twitter saying, just like the NBA, they too love money more than freedom and democracy.
This is how we make a difference. This is how we make a change.
Now, some people are still attempting to shut down cities in the name of the climate. These are members of Extinction Rebellion in London doing interpretive dance as a way of saving the planet. Now, a grisly story from America now about a man who says he's one of the most infamous criminals that country has ever produced.
On 17th Avenue, and she had on a short cream miniskirt. cream and red. So
This man has broken a US national record, one to be ashamed of. 79-year-old Samuel Little confessed to 93 murders between 1970 and 2005. He's now the worst serial killer in US history. FBI investigators say 50 of those confessions are reliable. The alleged murders took place in Florida, Arkansas, Kentucky, Nevada, and Louisiana. The vast majority of Little's victims were black women. Each confession came with a drawing of the victim. Many of them were vulnerable, such as sex workers or drug addicts. And because of Little's nomadic lifestyle, he was hard to catch.
For many years, Samuel Little believed he would not be caught because he thought no one was accounting for his victims. Even though he's already in prison, the FBI believes it's important to seek justice for each victim to close every case possible.
Little is already serving life imprisonment after being convicted of 3 murders in 2014. He's surpassed Green River killer Gary Ridgway's record, a serial killer convicted of 49 murders. He's currently serving life in prison. Ted Bundy confessed to killing more than 30 women in the 60s and 70s. He was executed 30 years ago. John Wayne Gacy killed more than 30 people, mainly young boys. He was executed in 1994.
and on the other side of the cornfield was a trash pile. I parked the car facing out where I could see anybody coming in. So I pulled her out of the car. She's too big for me to carry her. So
These confessions help solve cold cases which date back decades. Initially, many of his victims' deaths were put down as drug overdoses, accidental or undetermined. But these confessions are not the end of the story of these crimes. Most of Little's alleged victims' bodies are missing. And the FBI says Little's recollections of details like dates may not always be accurate. They are asking for help from the public to ascertain the validity of the remaining confessions. So the families of those he may have killed must still wait to find out what happened to their kin.
And we keep on moving around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Tuesday. The US government have banned 28 Chinese companies from operating in the US because of the company's role in the persecution of Uyghurs, Kazakhs and other Muslim minorities in Xinjiang. The 28 targets include both governments, agencies and technology companies specializing in surveillance equipment, including facial recognition technology. Their products have been used by the Chinese state as part of their campaign to hold more than 1 million people from those communities in what are described as re-education centers. A man who was jailed in Vietnam for writing defamatory comments about the Communist Party on his Facebook page is being supported by the group Human Rights Watch. They're calling for his release and for the charges against him to be dropped. Nguyen Quoc Duc Vuong is charged with disseminating information intended to oppose the state of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Human Rights Watch also want Facebook to get involved in calling for his release. Instagram is scrapping a feature called Following, which used to let you see what the people you follow have been doing on the app. The head of product at Instagram says some people didn't know their activity was being surfaced in this way. And Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, is going to feature in her own video game. She's the first Muslim Avenger, and this is the trailer for the new game. Well, now for a look at a group of artists who describe their work as brandalism. They say they want to retake spaces claimed by capitalism and try and write new narratives. Meet Teekster.
Brandalism is not a new concept. It's basically a revolt against the corporate control of culture and space. Hi, my name is Teekster, and I offer a refreshing new take on Islamic art in the 21st century. My ultimate aim is to connect communities and cultures and challenge the negative images and narrow perceptions of Muslims through the sincere, universal language of art. Advertisers rely on a system in which the public space is sold off to the highest bidder, and that bidder can bombard you with whatever messages they want. I often seek out billboards that have been ignored by society, in places there where they need a visual vamp up. I replaced the adverts with abstract Islamic themed artwork. By replacing the adverts with artwork, I provide a public service, an alternative vision of a public environment, because at the end of the day, nobody needs anything negative to look at. Outdoor advertisement can be psychologically damaging. Corporate advertising influences every aspect of our modern lives. Adverts make us hate ourselves, our bodies, our perception of others. In the end, advertising doesn't sell us products, it shapes our expectations how meaning should be produced in life, or what we're supposed to be doing. When advertisers push demeaning content on us, we should fight back. I've been roughly doing this for about a year. However, through experience, I tried to avoid posting the images to social media straight away. Initially, it was being removed straight after I announced the location. Now I kind of let people find them accidentally, or I kind of like post things a few weeks after, so it gives the artwork a chance to actually be seen by the public. You're asking me what I aim to achieve, because I understand a lot of people thinking what I do is pointless. But the fact is, nature is filled with beauty. Ugliness is an invention by man. Being trapped in a concrete city, you miss out on the beauty that the world has to offer. We have been conditioned to always find the ugly in everything, even when there is something beautiful there. One of my core influences in my art is my Islamic heritage. Throughout the Islamic world, surrounding ourselves with beauty and art is integral to our religion. In the past, everywhere where Muslims went, they built architecture and gardens. Muslims created places of beauty which reflected the divine presence. I guess I want people to walk down the street and see something nice for once, something beautiful, something different, that's not trying to sell you anything.
Well, next we go to the United Kingdom for a look at a charity's attempt to raise money for people who fought for the British Army.
The medical discharge process is seriously failing those who are let down by major inconsistencies in support. So we are calling on the government to commission an independent review of the process to close those gaps.
And last up, we have some seriously viral video which was filmed here in Turkey by some members of the British diving team. Now, this has been watched millions of times after it posted to TikTok and Twitter by Jack Lauer. He was the first guy who jumped out. He's also an Olympic gold medalist. Also in here is Yona Knight Wisdom, who's actually from the Jamaican dive team. There he is as Black Panther. It's all pretty impressive and very rewatchable as they do their very best Avengers impressions. Well, that will do from the Newsfeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints and suggestions. You'll find me, that's Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel and you can follow me on Twitter. Follow, subscribe and add, and I will see you again tomorrow.